So here's my solution for creating an array of features. Reviews that have either been padded on the left with zeros until they are sequence length long, or truncated at that length. First, I'm actually creating an array of zeros that's just the final shape that I know I want. That is, it should have as many rows as I have reviews in the input reviews inst data. And it has as many columns as the specified sequence length. And this will just hold all the 0 integers for now. Then for each review in my list, I'll put it as a row in my features array. The first review is going to go in the first row, and the second in the second, and so on. And I started out thinking of my short review case. I want to keep a left padding of zeros up until I reach where that review can fill the remaining values. So I'm looking at filling my features, starting at the index that's at the end of the features row, minus the length of the input review. So if a review is short, this means our features are going to keep the zeros, which are padding on the left, and the review tokens will be on the right side. It turns out that I only have to add one more piece to this line to make this work for long reviews too. Here for any review, including those longer than the given sequence length, I'm truncating them at that sequence length, and this should fill the corresponding features row. So this loop will do this for every review in reviews ints, and then it returns these features. Below I'm running my test code. Here I'm creating features, passing in my list of reviews ints, and a sequence length equal to 200. I don't trigger any of these error messages, so I know my dimensions are correct, and I'm printing out the first 10 values of the first 30 rows here. And here's what these rows look like. A lot of these start with zeros, which is what I expect for left padding, and others have filled up these rows with various token values. So this is great, and I'll also add that, in this step, we've actually introduced a new token into our review features. Remember that before, all words in our vocabulary had an associated integer value, and we started tokenizing with the value 1. So in our vocab to int dictionary, we had integers from 1 up to 74,000 or so. And here, by adding 0 as padding, I've effectively inserted the 0 token into our vocabulary. Okay, now for your next and last data transformation exercise, with our data in nice shape, next, I want you to split the features and encoded labels into 3 different data sets: training, validation, and test sets. You'll need to create data sets for grouping our features and labels, like train X and train Y, for example. And we'll use these different sets to train and test our model. So I've defined a split fraction, split frac, as the fraction of data to keep in the training set. This is set to 0.8 or 80% of data. The 20% of the data that's left should be split in half to create the validation and testing data respectively. So I'll leave this as an exercise, and next I'll go over how I split the data, and I'll show you some PyTorch resources we can use to effectively batch and iterate through these different data sets.